Continuing on with our King of the Hill, Queen versus Mini. This is going to be a pretty exciting one to start this out on. Mini, of course, having an incredible performance in the ASL just recently. Was unable to actually win the entire thing, but I think his PvZ has proven to be very cutting edge. I'm curious with how public his playstyle is now, and how studyable it is how Queen's going to be playing, because we know that. He's done a lot of the quick core stuff. It's going to be fun to see how exactly Queen plays this and approaches it. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I almost feel like Queen might be slightly favored here with how Mini's risky playstyle kind of out there. What do you think?
I actually will go slightly opposite of that. I almost feel like Mini is just in such good shape right now with the matchup, because I mean he's been he made it to the finals and everything, and he had like a lot of PvZ to prepare for. I kind of feel like Mini is slightly favored. Also, it feels like Queen, the funny thing is he did really well in the last ASL season. It's kind of like the thing with Flash where you expect him to do even better, so I'm like, I don't know, maybe he's washed up that he only gets like top 8 or top 4,
Yeah.
It's like, isn't he supposed to win the tournament?
It's with the players that win all the time, if they don't get top 4, we're like, oh, they played so poorly, it's so disappointing, when in reality, yeah, I mean, they're still extremely strong players. So to start this off, we're gonna have Mini going with Pylon and Expansion here. This isn't really surprising. We would expect a quick expand build. I do want to see when Mini decides to throw his own pool down here.
Oh, you mean the spawning pool for Queen?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Because you said Mini. I'm like, oh, is that a new Protoss build? They have spawning pools now?
Give me a second. I actually got to tab out of some stuff. Here we go. All right.
Okay, so gateway opener, obviously, as you would expect. Now, he's not scouting with the probe, right? So we saw Snow do this on Hidden Track. And it was actually quite funny. Like, I saw a lot when Snow did that, and you and I were like, oh my god, this is new. Like, and we were referring to gateway expand with no probe scout. A lot of people were like, lol, Mini does gateway expand all the time. Like, didn't you cast ASL? And it's like, okay, guys, the difference here is he's not scouting with a probe, so he actually has no idea what's coming.
That's like the biggest fucking deal in the world. When people talk like that, it's like, Jesus Christ, you don't even understand how the fucking game works, man. Like, to not scout and not know is an extreme change from what normally happens, where normally they scout after gateway. And is Artosis' volume a little bit too low, chat? Hold on, I'll turn him up. Where it's extremely risky, and if you don't look at what they're doing, you don't know how many lings are coming. You don't know if you should attack or defend or what. So this is a very interesting approach. This may be an approach that over time we find out isn't really that dangerous at all. But yeah, watching this game, it's an interesting one. It's going to be a Zealot coming out immediately.
Yeah, and he's actually sending the Zealot. Like, this is his first scout, is literally the Zealot. So this feels like he's relying upon the fact that Zergs generally will scout counterclockwise on this map.
Right.
So he's just like, I don't know, I think you're top. And one thing I want to mention for people, and I think that people really don't notice this, because you don't really notice this until you actually get quite good at the game, is if you don't send a scout out, you have so much more money. Your build order fits so much better together.
Right.
It's actually a gigantic difference as far as income goes. That's why it actually really matters on what number people end up scouting. And when people say things like, oh, well, just send out more than one scout, it's like, no, you actually have killed yourself at that point. But really amazing to see him get up there. He identifies the build order. He's running back now. And look at this. He's getting his core. No forge even started. The guy is sitting here with 3 Zealots already. This is pure Mini here.
Yeah, and this is also on the back of a layer here for Queen. And yeah, it looks like he's going to be safe. I do wonder if we're going to start to see Zergs just 9-pull speedling more often to try to punish this. But right now, it's another build where Protoss is certainly not... I mean, it looks like if you can balance this act pretty well, you're going to be okay. But again, it's kind of a scary way to play the game. Kind of exciting from a Protoss's perspective to see, this novel approach still being applied, still being used here. And it looks like we'll probably have Mutaplay. I'd be very surprised if it was Lurkers. The only reason why I even bring Lurkers up at all is that cannons come so late in this build that I kind of wonder about stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's like super uncommon, but that would be kind of like a funny way to try to slay Mini, wouldn't it, right?
Yeah.
Like, is there some sort of timing in there that could work? Now, he does have his Forge. He is getting +1 in his main base. But yeah, this is crazy, man. Still no cannon. We're 4 minutes, 40 seconds in. Is he ever going to make a cannon here? It looks like he's finally going to.
Gets it super late. The Stargate is finishing. The first cannon starts. Really crazy stuff. I guess you can do this on this map because it's 3-player. And on PvZ, I guess a 3-player map, if Zerg isn't playing a super weird style, is almost like a 2-player map as far as spawns go.
Kind of,
you
yeah,
know?
I know what you mean. You can figure out where Zerg is most of the time by scout patterns, because there's always a better way to scout with an Overlord. But it's important to mix that up, too, as a Zerg player, right? Like,
right.
That's like especially in like a best of series or as a mind game, occasionally you do need to change that and punish people with that. But here, I mean, Mini has like the least intel I've ever seen, basically, but seems to know what's going on. Finally, his Corsair going across the map. He's going to find the Spire just about finishing. And, of course, he can check that bottom right area where the other natural has been taken by Queen.
Now, the two naturals are extremely far away from each other here. So, this is a little bit scary, I'd say, for the Zerg when Mini comes out, because Protoss can go to either natural. I don't see a sunken colony at either one. And of course, it leaves you guessing a little bit as far as where you need to defend.
Now, there are a couple Scourge out, and he has to run his Corsair away from that. Hopefully he can get both of those out. But yeah, is he just going to go Mutas? Like, or is he about to hatch 1,000,000 Lings? Because these Zealots are coming, and this will, like, just kill him if he doesn't have anything.
Well, I think he's got Mutas because there's a second gas taken here. So that makes me think that probably he'll go for Mutalisks.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But, I think, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Mutas. There's enough Lings on the map that Protoss has to try to engage them when they come attack him, but with +1 about to finish, that's going to be not a problem.
Yeah, like he's going to turn around and be able to fight against these Zerglings so well. Right in that choke. He actually doesn't have the +1 quite yet, but here we go. The Muta's starting to pop out. There is a single sunken. Oh my god, +1 still not done here. We'll be doing so much better.
Timing here.
A little bit. Okay, +1 finishes, but maybe just slightly late. Legs are done now as well. Not as good as I think he wanted it to be.
Yeah, this is, I think been a little bit tough for Protoss because you get out on the map so quickly. But, yeah, I mean, the upgrades kind of finished a bit late. We do have the air upgrades coming here for Corsair, so he's going to have plenty of Corsairs to try to take a fight. Still on 2 gateways. Pretty quick robo at that, by the way. He may try to do a DT drop from this. That's an extremely early robotics.
Ah, you think this is to bust the bottom right main? It must be.
I think so.
It must be.
If I had to guess, right? That just seems like it makes sense. If you get enough Corsairs that can win the air fight, you can drop DTs into the bottom right main and basically kill it. Yeah,
it seems pretty free there. Now, he does run a couple Zealots by over at that bottom right main and natural area. Looks like one is going to kill a drone and get picked off. The other one running into the main base, which does give him that, like, confirmation. Of course, it's not going to get any damage done.
Yeah, there's a lot more Scourge and Mutas being made, which is going to be,
dude,
interesting. I mean, I think at this point in time, he's trying to overpower the Protoss, especially when you beat that ground army, like what happened earlier on at the natural. All you have to do is now take out the air army, and they just don't really have anything.
Tasteless. Mini is on 2 gates, and he just made a 3rd Nexus.
Yeah, this is really an example of him kind of changing the way we look at PvZ. Now, that cannon's going to be taken out. I think Mini may be dead, Artosis.
Oh, I hope not.
As exciting as his build order development was, there's too many Scourge.
There is a lot of Scourge, and they have +1 Carapace.
Oh my god. Okay, very weird engagement there.
Oh, I guess he's fine. Tasteless. He's fine.
I can't believe it.
Okay, so
yeah.
I heard Now, I don't want to accuse you of anything, but I heard a rumor, and I need you to let me know. Do you make more than 2 gates before taking your third base against Zerg?
Do I make more than 2 gates? I definitely do.
Okay, it sounds to me like you're a clown, and you need to start playing like Mini and just taking a third base off of 2 gateways, a Robo, DT
Dude.
Tech, and Corsairs.
You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of Protoss builds like in 2006 and 7. You know what I mean? Where it's like all Wild West fast expand builds. So,
Yeah.
He's gonna come in here now, and he should be able to get this last Overlord, and so the hatchery should fall.
Yeah, he's dealing with some of these drones now as well, but Overlord's speed is done, so he doesn't really get as much as I think he was looking for there. In the meantime, some Hydras coming up towards that third base. There are a couple of cannons. He's bringing High Templars up now. The probe's coming out and getting ready to fight, but not that many units here.
Yeah, there's not very much. Again, you know, if you can stay in the Zerg space and be active on the map, I think you've got a fighting chance. The problem is that the moment that Zerg gets you off their back, it just seems to me like they're going to end up killing your third base. Like, you just don't quite have a lot here. But let's see. I mean, if Mini can stretch this game out, it would be pretty insane. I'm very much worried about this Hydra attack that's inbound here. Storm is good, but if you can move the Hydras kind of in and out of the storm pretty quickly, sometimes you can just overpower the Protoss.
But if Mini is okay for the next couple minutes, he should be able to explode as far as macro goes, right? Like, maybe this is something where you hold on by the skin of your teeth and you roll Zerg over.
Yeah, I mean,
although
maybe.
It looks like he's going to be rolled over right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a tricky one for me to cast because I'm just not used to seeing Protosses develop like this, but it really makes you think, right, about the ways the games can be played.
Yeah, DT pushing back a little bit here, but, like, he has, right now, like, 1 storm ready. There's no way, right?
I mean, it all comes down if the Zerg thinks they can attack in. You know, Zergs are pretty good at not attacking in when they shouldn't, because that's all that Protoss needs to do to win the game, is to trade out Storm with everything else. But
there's a DT drop in the main base of Queen right now.
I didn't even catch that. I'm glad you pointed that out, Artosis.
Yeah, he actually gets a fair amount of drones. And is he going to get the Spire? Oh my god. Yes, in fact, he does.
Yeah, that's pretty wild, taking out the Spire like that.
What can you do now that you took out the Spire? Is there like a certain thing you're like, okay, now I'm good to go?
Well, I mean, the Spire it's one of these key techs that you get stuff like Scourge out of. So, you know, you're not as afraid of Scourge catching this. And so he's going to roam the map now and try to look for Overlords to kill off. And he's finding them over here.
Yeah, he's actually picking off a few right there. Doing a good job of that. There's a lot of drones, Tasteless. I'm like looking at these mineral lines. Queen's economy is insane. Like, Mini did a great job getting his third base up quickly and not dying. But it looks like Queen took that where he's like, well, I know that you can't attack me anymore. And now he's got himself into this position where he has Hive Tech, he has Lurkers, he has 1 million hatches, and he has so many drones. He has to have right now 60 drones.
Yeah, he's got a lot. There's another drop coming in here. I don't know how vulnerable the main is. Again, we saw that Spire picked off. It's probably been remade. Or I guess it actually hasn't. But he's going to drop some more Zealots, maybe some DTs. Here they come now. And just try to get whatever damage off he can do.
Yeah, he gets a DT into that mineral line. The drones do get pulled very quickly. I mean, that in and of itself is a bit of a loss at least, but doesn't do that much damage with this.
No, it was a pretty ineffectual attack. We do have the 4th base for Protoss. These are all bases that have gases. That's very important to note. A lot of maps, you end up with some kind of a mineral-only base as the 4th, but having 4 gases puts Protoss in an extremely strong spot. The question now, though, is how is this going to play out as far as who can control what parts of the map? Zerg is going to have to expand again, maybe into the upper right, but Mini's going to have a lot of push potential here.
Yeah, he is coming out with a lot of units. He has that +2 armor upgrade, has that +1 attack as well. How many High Templars with this army? I actually only see 3 with it right now, so that does make me a little bit nervous for him. And yeah, also, like, he's taken the 4th base, which I think is great. I love seeing this out of Mini, the fact that he keeps expanding. But I've seen a lot of PVZs on Ascension at this point, and it feels like, okay, a lot of Protosses will get up to 4 bases, sometimes even take the 5th. That's kind of a pocket to the main. But then they just are playing against Lurker Turtles. And it's like, how do you end up breaking that?
Well, I think usually if you get to Lurker Turtle, you try to not trade into it, right? You basically want to stay back and use your storms and then you know, try to not let them get the next base, right? I think especially on this map, these bases aren't very pushable. Both of the positions that Zerg has. It's a frustrating part of the game here because the Protoss can't really do that much.
Yeah.
So I think the proper response is to basically focus on growth here.
Yeah, I guess that does make sense. Like, I think that the rest of the bases on the map are really easy to attack. The, you know, the 3rds, the 4ths, the 5ths on each of these locations. Not hard at all, really. But then you look at the naturals, and it's like, okay, well, how do you break in there? And obviously the mains, you have to go through the natural or do some sort of drop. Now, both sides are getting very close to maxed out. I haven't seen Defilers yet, but they must be on the way. Yeah, I see the Defiler Mound in the main base and extra Evolution Chamber. So Queen is really getting into that end game.
And we've got a push coming up here, up the staircase in the upper right quadrant of the map. There's not enough lurkers here that Protoss needs to run away, but okay, it looks like he's just going to regroup, basically. If he can get up here before these lurkers hatch, he can probably take this fight pretty easily, but Mini's also being pretty smart with how conservative he's playing. He's not overextending into this, but since he does back off and there's more lurkers coming down now, the Zerg is going to get control of this platform, which is going to extend this game to an extremely long one if Protoss can't do anything to punish this.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's going to be able to. He's just kind of running back to his own high groundish area right now, and of course he can defend there. But it always feels like there's a little bit of a clock on Protoss where, you know, Zerg is going to come out with those Defilers. They're going to start throwing Plagues absolutely everywhere, and you better have full mastery. But look at the bottom right. He actually does double speed shuttle drop of Zealots into there, and it seems like he's doing all right with it.
Yeah, this is a great way to interrupt what Zerg is doing. Keep in mind that when Zerg gets to maxed out supply, they literally don't have enough hotkeys on their keyboard to bind everything. And so the way they have to manage units is very different. And it's important that they don't have enough to bind everything. I mean, Zerg is a great example. Nice storm drop there. It's a great example of why you don't want to have unlimited unit selection, or Zerg would just walk over you and kill you.
Yeah, and look at this. He's actually, as all the units funnel into that bottom right to defend, he moves back out with his goons and storms, getting rid of those lurkers, pushing back, taking control of the center, but I do not think he can go up that ramp. Letting lurker going up a ramp, like, you just can't kill it with goons.
It's so much more efficient to just make lurkers and kind of hold these positions and try to drag the game out. It's tough for the Protoss, especially with Dragoons firing up ramps. And the chance to miss, and the fact that Dragoons don't actually attack that fast at all. In fact, they're some of the slowest attacking units in the game. It's tough for Protoss. And so we are going to see, I think, a rotation over here. There's another DT drop, by the way, in the bottom right. I really like what I'm seeing here.
Yeah, and I mean, the DTs are doing something, but is Mini gaining enough value over time? He's still roaming with that very heavy Dragoon-based army, poking where he can, but now we have Defilers out as well, so the goons are going to become less and less useful.
Yeah, this is going to be a pretty big attack over here. It's actually paramount that Mini actually holds this attack off and keeps this base alive, because Mini needs to keep growing as well. There's Dragoons coming down here from the north, hitting this area, and it looks like with the Zealots coming from the bottom, the Dragoons from the top, this is going to be cleaned up. We also have huge storm drops over here at the natural at the bottom right. Big connects there.
Yeah, 11 kills with that storm drop. Amazingly done, making an Archon now as well. He does save his 5th base location. Another storm drop goes off at the 5th base of Queen, getting 5-6 drones there easily.
Mini's got the right idea with the storm drops, especially when you have this many bases, because Zerg kind of can't stop storm drops. Speed shuttles are faster than Scourge. There's no speed upgrade for Scourge. The way the AI works, you can juke and jive. You can zig and zag with the shuttle and basically dodge Scourge. And, it's hard to get workers when there's a lot of them on any patch to move unless you right-click on another mineral. But then, of course, the Templar can preempt that movement and storm in that direction and kill it. And so a lot of times you see the Protoss will roam the middle of the map and then storm over and over and over at the Zerg's bases and try to deplete the drone count.
Well, he has done that at least a little bit, but Queen very quickly re-drones, has a super sick economy once again. Now starting to go into the center with mass defilers as well as Zerglings, and I think that when you see that type of strike force, you have to be really careful as Protoss, right? Because when those plagues come down on the Dragoons, they already are having a hard time against Cracklings, against a Dark Swarm, but then when they go down to 1 health as well, they just melt so quickly.
Nice storm over here in the natural. I think Mini definitely has a lot of the right ideas by just trying to hit these different locations and keep the Zerg kind of covering everything. It's interesting to see the Zerg basically has like 7 or 8 Hydras at each spot that could be storm dropped here. Just like enough that it can kind of deal with anything that comes out of 1 or even maybe 2 shuttles. We got to point out here, Protoss is running out of places that can realistically be taken on the map. And,
yeah.
We normally talk about this, I think especially in TVZ and StarCraft 2, like GSL casts, where it's like you kind of want to watch the map, and even though all these fights are exciting, you're really looking to see, what's going to happen. Well, hold that thought here. We have this huge attack coming up. It looks like the Hydra Den is going to be picked off if it's targeted correctly here.
Yeah, it seems a little bit sloppier. You definitely could power down those buildings. The Dragoons are missing infinity shots, but he gets some great storms in there as well, knocking out a bunch of the lurkers, knocking out a defiler. Also, the Zealots starting to get underneath and do their damage. But eventually, he does have to back up, and there's a giant flank coming in. So I don't think this army's going to make it out alive.
I don't think so either. But just to go big picture again, basically, if they both manage to take all the bases that are in their respective territories, Zerg would be ahead by about 2 bases, which would probably cost Protoss the game here. So we just want to keep that in mind. Even though this is a back and forth fight, the map is going to grind this game to an end eventually.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing about 3-player maps is, eventually someone definitely has more territory. So we have Plague going down, the Dark Storm's absolutely everywhere, the Dragoons really getting shredded at this point. Mini trying to retreat with what he can. He has started to cannon push up here to steal the 4th base of, what is normally a 4th base location of Queen. I love to see it. This is like a really cool move, but how in the world do you hold on to that?
Yeah, it's tough. This taking that base will secure the main from being dropped. It's just kind of unlikely that you can actually get in there that easily. The lurkers running in here and burrowing. And I worry now that we're really seeing the power of the defilers here once Protoss lost control of this game by failing to push into the natural and reset the tech tree. Whoa, Artosis, there's a big drop over here in the bottom right.
Oh my god, yeah, Reaver shuttles, storms, Zealots, everything in here, and he's doing a great job while Queen's attention was in that top left area.
We don't normally have this, but I really like to see this, especially on the 3-player map, is basically hammering with these pretty cool strike forces, these bases down here for Zerg that are just not... Zerg really has to respect these attacks here and do their very best to try to control against it, or they're going to lose control of the game. But, yeah, I mean, just to say again, I mean, Zerg is in a position where they're just going to have more resources to harvest on the map. Protoss, the 3rd base, is about to dry up. The 4th has got a decent amount of resources at it. The 5th is looking good. But Zerg just has enough bases to stretch this game out for a while, although the storm drops have been extremely effective.
Yeah, I mean, he's done a lot of damage down there, but Queen continues to just kind of re-drone. He has a ton of units still. Mini's bank is decent, but it is mostly in minerals, so a little bit harder to get back into those High Templars. But look at his main army at his rally point. Lots of Archons, lots of High Templars. He definitely has a high-quality army right now.
Yeah, this is where you gotta switch into Zealot High Templar when you start to see Defilers. The problem is that Lurkers become extremely strong against this.
Seems like Lurkers are strong against everything.
Yeah, they're pretty good units, to be honest. I feel like they got better when I came back to StarCraft.
Yeah.
When I came back, I'm like, were these always this good? By the way, another big shuttle drop over here in the bottom right. I like the positioning too. The Reaver, the Archon, the Zealots coming in here, but there's quite a bit of army supply down here for Queen. He just sort of has enough. I think he's going to be okay. And now we've got a push coming up here into the top right in Artosis. I don't know that actually Zerg has enough to fight this at the natural. Lurkers are being made. I don't know how quickly Mini's going to dive on this, but this is going to be a big moment. Meanwhile, big attack over here into the center of the map.
Oh my god, yeah, that 5th base definitely going on for Minis. Trying to drill the probes out of there. Going to lose them for the most part. His attacking in the natural, though, for Queen may be even more important. Some storms going down on those eggs. They mostly get canceled as he continues to run forward here. The Archon, Zealot, High Templar doing a ton of damage, but a lot of units coming in here to try to flank it and clean it up.
Yeah, great control so far here. These Lurkers haven't really found any place to stay safe at. The bases are going to fall, which is going to put Mini on essentially one base, which actually might be okay. It's not ideal, of course, but he has breached into the main. He can kill the Defiler Mound, which is extremely important. But even bigger than that is that he can kill this Hive. As long as he can control this correctly. And the storms are amazing. This army is being filtered through it very slowly.
Yeah, look, he's holding onto the Dark Swarm to kind of screw with those Hydras. I love to see it. Staying at the choke so he can get those Psy Storms off. Still has multiple ones here on that High Templar. Does get one off before it gets picked. Going after the spawning pool wall with the Zealots in the main base. Another huge storm. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh, most insane storm. And now the Archons are killing everything.
Oh, they suddenly won that fight. That's insane. I thought for a little bit it wasn't going to work, but this is crazy now. So Zerg has lost control of the center. Again, Zerg has a lot of minerals and gas right now, but the Defiler Mound is just now being made over at 3 o'clock. We have the spawning pool just now being remade. The Spire's about to fall, a very important tech building to kill. And we're going to have, I think, a drop come in here. And I don't actually know how ready Queen is going to be. Queen, I think, is still slightly favored in this position, only because it's hard for Protoss to push, but it may not be that simple. This is a really good moment for the Protoss to seize this opportunity.
Should Mini be focusing on getting another Nexus or putting every ounce of resources into trying to kill Queen right now?
You know, it's really hard to say. I mean, I guess both are yes to both, if that makes sense. You know, like I mean, when you get to games that go on this long, right? Like we're almost at 30 minutes. These are really the most chaotic StarCraft games there are, right? There's so many things going on. I think having a Nexus certainly would help out a lot. I don't feel like the 400 minerals would hurt if he hadn't made something somewhere. Again, these storms are huge. He's got to be careful with these Zealots, man. These Zealots to the left is stressing me out. He's got some great Psy Storms coming down. He just can't eat too much damage from those Lurkers. Again, all these shots, the Archons, the Reavers, they don't fire that fast, so it's very important that each shot that's fired is connected. And I'll tell you what, dude, I think he's making it work.
This is amazing.
He's pushing through here. He's thinning out the Lurkers.
Just an absurd game here out of both Mini and Queen. I thought for sure for most of this game that Queen had it. Like, he played such a beautiful game, but now Mini has cost sufficiently destroyed his whole army. He's up 40 supply.
Dude, look at the new natural. There's so many units that Zerg can't get out. I think something's bugging.
Oh god, yeah, he's at one Hydra on like whole position in the wall.
Okay, there we go. I thought maybe it got stuck
on
a larva or something. Now,
dude, again, yeah, he has so many units that are stuck in there. He actually has a big enough army to kill this little group of Archons and everything.
Hold on, there's Reavers coming in now. He's got some pretty good Psy Storms here. If he can just blanket this area and keep pushing, he's going to kill the Defiler Mound again. And the Defiler Mound is really what allows the Zerg to stretch out into this game and be comfortable. The storms are coming down. I don't see it. Oh, no, there is an Observer, but it's just now stormed down.
Ooh, just one Lurker left over there. He will back up from it. I tell you, these Reavers have been super clutch as well. It's not like super heavy on Reaver, but just the 1 or 2 Reavers he's having in these armies are making all the difference. Now he's going to the north, killing off, what do we even call this, base number 6 for Queen, one of his last remaining ones.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I mean, he didn't kill the Defiler Mound, which gives me a little bit of pause. The Protoss is about to mine out, which is insane. The Zerg, though, is also about to mine out. He has one base, but there's only 3 drones there. The Defiler Mound is going to be killed. I don't believe we ever had the Hive remade, Artosis, so this is...
Oh my god.
Any Defilers, you know, they need to come out of this game right now, and I don't know how many are actually
the Hive actually lived in the main.
Oh, I'm sorry, Artosis. I'm a terrible caster. So he takes that out, but again, he does not have the Defiler tech, which is really what's most important.
Kills off that last lurker.
I think there's a blind spot on the mini-map here for Mini. I think he does not realize that there's another base.
That, like, and, yeah, it's like 12 with the hour hand base.
Yeah, with the hour hand, yes,
it's like a shorter hand, you know? Like, that's where it actually
hits.
No,
exactly. By the way, Protoss is about to mine out, like in the next second or two here.
Yeah, it seems like he's just going for broke on this attack.
The thing is, I don't know why Mini's attacking here. I mean, I guess it's because StarCraft's a hard game, but...
Well, I think he's trying to take advantage of the one time where it's like there's very little army left. But it's not going to end up working, I think. I can't believe this. Did he actually lose now? It's 66 supply to 119.
Well, here's the thing. If he kills this mineral-only base, I think he can actually long-distance mine. He has 333 minerals. He's halfway to the mark of the beast.
Dude, he sees the drones coming out.
This tips the hand immediately. When you see the workers moving like this at any matchup, you go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nobody's random. In fact, you can see Queen tries to fake him out by sending it to the wrong natural, and he doesn't buy it. We're in one of these... We're 1 in 100 StarCraft games where it's gotten insane. Both sides are mined out.
Yeah, no one's mining now.
Correct.
That's it. Like we're long distancing from Mini right now out of his 5th base area.
I do feel Protoss is slightly better, just as the way their units operate here.
Yeah.
But Lings can be pretty handy here, man.
No, I know. Look at that. The Ling's doing a great job, but he's got Storm, so that's like just efficiency at its best.
Right. I mean, Storm is great. Protoss units, you know, with shields especially, small engagements are inconsequential, you know? So you can kind of take a fight, and if you really dominated it, you basically didn't lose any HP. And Mini has pretty much got the right idea. He's going to try to just take this base up here. It's very important that the rest of the units are sent back here. Queen is in a very difficult position. He has to make a decision right now. Does he dive bomb in here and try to end the game? It may or may not work. He does get the observer. Holy shit.
Yeah.
There's no other observer here.
Dude, look how many High Templars. You don't need observers, Tasteless. He's got 10 High Templars.
Artosis, but you might be right.
You don't need them. Storm everything. Look at this. The Lurker's running up right now. This is the last stand here of Queen, and he's actually targeting down quite a few. Already we've lost 3 of the High Templars, but the Storms are too good.
Yeah, if he can just storm every single one, there should be an observer inbound here as well. There have been a small amount of minerals that have been pulled, you know, in the long distance mining. Another storm. I think Mini has won one of the most insane PvZs in late game ever.
Really? I can't believe what a good game this has been. Oh my god. Okay, here come the observers, and he cleans that up. Okay, we do have long distance mining for Queen in the top right. He's got like a couple hundred minerals in that bottom right main, but he's at 51 supply.
The problem is the lack of lurkers. I just want to check. Okay, there's a hydrogen in the bottom right, but yeah, the real threat here is that there are not really lurkers in this game here. I do wish in moments like this we had a ticker to check what the probe count is.
Yeah,
but
it looks like there's enough probes. There's like a lot of probes that are kind of in between the main and that other base.
I'm finding that right now. Yeah. And so the problem for Zerg is once Protoss can push, without lurkers, there's not really a whole lot you can actually do to defend. We don't have Dragoons here, and I don't think it would be a bad idea at all to make Dragoons, especially with no Defiler tech. There are drones, by the way, long distance mining from the main hive into the natural. Kind of forgot that was even a place with minerals. I stumbled upon that when I was clicking around.
Well, I guess we're in a situation where, like, literally every single mineral patch counts. Like, right now, Queen...
Oh, he's gonna go for the next. He's gonna go for the Nexus.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you gotta be careful about that.
Yeah, not gonna quite get... I think he might GG.
Yeah, well, if he can pop the Nexus, then there's, you know... I think even at this point in time, probably not a shot. I think if you have a very calculated Protoss, you're probably okay. I think things like DTs are great in these ones. Oh my god, this lurker probe! Oh my god, it's all the probe!
Yeah, he gets most of them. But now Queen really doesn't have anything. Queen has 43 supply. I think it's almost purely drones. GG.
Queen taps out.
Wow.
What a game.
Tasteless.
Dang.
Tasteless. This is what can happen if you don't scout. If you go for a fucking 2 gateways and all the tech buildings into a 3rd base. This is how to play PvC right here.
This is insane.
That was...
Here, give me a second. I gotta get some more water. Just sit tight. I'll be right back.
Shit.